rendering, which gives the whole game a realistic look. We have new main character classes, new main character class models with all new animations and completely new item base types. Most of these have physics for many of the little details, which look a lot more awesome than before. We've put a lot of work into updating skill effects. For example, when you fire a split arrow, you'll really feel the individual arrows because they can stick in objects and they can bounce off others realistically. Oh, this looks so good. Slight spoiler, but that support gem he's using turns any skill into a barrage. Any bow skill. So, the 4.0 campaign contains a variety of optional side quests that lead to meaningful boss encounters. Relatively soon now, Jonathan's going to encounter an NPC called Lachlan, who has lost his family and needs help.
My family, where are they? Isabel and the boys were only to be gone for a few minutes. But it has been, I don't even know how long. Hours at least. Days, weeks. What season is it? Stranger, I know we have just met, but I'm so worried about them. Around here, they could have fallen into a sinkhole or been choked by grave dust. Please, could you see to their safety?
The game has changed a lot more than just visually, though. One of the things we've really wanted to do for a long time is to make fundamental changes to Path of Exile's skill system. The skill system in PoE is really cool and versatile. Personally, it's one of my favorite things about the game, but there have always been some awkward things about it. We really wanted to find a way to address all of the shortcomings while not sacrificing even a single bit of the functionality that we already have. So, you can see in the inventory here, there's something missing. All of the sockets on the items. This is because in Path of Exile 2, you no longer put gems into your items. Instead, the skill gems themselves have sockets, as you can see here, and there is a dedicated screen for socketing them. Jonathan's going to change his split arrow skill for Ice Shot and add some support gems to it. There are some really big advantages here. For one, every single skill gem in Path of Exile 2 can be a 6-link. This is going to cause huge changes in how players design character builds. In the past, players didn't want to have more than one primary attack skill because you could only have 1 or 2 6-links on your character. Now it's totally viable to have a lot of powerful primary attack skills with full support gems. The thing I'm really happy about, though, is you don't have to screw around with your gems all the time when you're leveling. Check out this bow here. The socket colors are the same between the two bows. They're both 4 green sockets, like every other bow in the game. And this means that when you find a new item, you just slap it on. You don't have to think about getting fusings and jewelers out because you do that on the gems themselves. As we swap between the bows as well, and for clarity, this means that in-game, when you're trying to roll your perfect item, you can focus on the mods and separately on the sockets and the skills. So you'll see here as Jonathan swaps the bows, the DPS values for all your skills update at a glance, and that's because we've completely changed how the character screen works and so on. Jonathan will go into more detail later today about that. So it's still possible to fine-tune socket colors on items if you need to, but because everything that drops has fixed sockets, it's way easier to just pick something up and put it on while you're leveling. For new players, another really great advantage is it's now impossible to socket a support gem into a skill gem it doesn't work with. For example, multiple projectiles here just can't go into Leap Slam, but as you can see, it works on the other bow skills. So you might be wondering about skills like auras. A lot of the time in the old skill system, you would throw a few gems together in a 4-link with few or no support gems. How can you do that when you have such a limited number of active skill slots now? The answer is meta gems. Meta gems are like super support gems that let you put multiple actives into them. For example, we want to run a few different auras on this character, so we put the proficiency gem into the character and load it up full of auras. It even gives you a single keybind you can use to cast all of the auras with 1 click. Come on. Trigger gems like Cast on Crit are also meta gems, so this means you can put an entire Cast on Crit setup in 1 gem as one of your 8 6-links you can now have. There is a huge amount more to talk about with what metagems allow you to do with Path of Exile skill system, and Jonathan will be going into all of it in the PoE 2 gameplay deep dive later today. He'll cover how all the existing Path of Exile things work in Path of Exile 2, as well as introducing a whole lot of new stuff. That is a talk not to miss. Oh, and I should add, the supports you're seeing here for the bow skills, they're 3.9 content, so you'll get to see that much, much sooner. And that's something I want to emphasize. While Path of Exile 4.0, sorry, Path of Exile 2, as we're now calling the campaign, is still quite far away, we are getting as much of the content in as early as we can, apart from the campaign itself. So you'll get to play most of the new stuff we're doing quite a lot earlier. It's the campaign and the skill system that are being rolled out on launch day. So one of the things we really wanted to improve on Path of Exile 2 was our lighting system. The new PBR rendering, in addition to a much more realistic light fall-off, makes this area look significantly better than we could possibly achieve in the past. So you can see here there are some monsters called courtesans who can explode the blood cretins. When blood cretins are covered in blood, they get a lot stronger, so you have to be careful. We've tried very hard to design very interesting monster fights, starting as early as Act 1 of the new campaign.
This area generated much longer than it usually did in every other demo we did.
Yeah, but that's actually a feature that we're proud of. We have put a lot of work into make sure there's even more randomization on our random areas. I know racers will hate to hear that because they can't memorize the layouts, but we want it to be very, very hard to find your way around. And there's a talk that Reese is doing later, I think it's tomorrow morning, where we're talking about topics like world generation and stuff like that, rather than just level generation. You'll see what he has to say, but it's pretty interesting.
Had to happen on the stage demo.
We have to give you an authentic Path of Exile experience involving some backtracking.
I've got a Quicksilver, so we're all right.
I mean.
Here we go.
Oh, this run-through is going a lot better than some of the rehearsals we did. It turns out some of the monsters hit pretty hard if you're not good at it, so. What's that, sir? Yeah, you got to level your gems up, Jonathan.
Oh, it's terrible.
So this is EXILECON plays PoE. Okay, should he go left or right? Awesome.
Please make them stop. They're whispering. They're screaming. No, don't give in. You're not dead. You're still moving. You're still here.
So one of the things that's really exciting about creating an entirely new campaign is that we get to apply all of our boss creation skills to early bosses as well. The first few acts of the original Path of Exile have bosses that are some of the earliest content we ever made, and their age is really showing. For comparison, this fight here is at the same level as Fairgraves in the original campaign, but as you can see, it's a lot more advanced with a lot more going on.
Learn to let go of your burdens.
A new level up animation. So here we are in Einhar's favorite place, the hunting grounds. Now, we're ready to show you something that players have been requesting for a really long time. You've seen it, in Path of Exile 2, we finally have shapeshifting. So, each shapeshift form can use any regular Path of Exile 2 attack. That makes sense. Here on the Werewolf, for example, we're using Leap, Slam, and Cleave. And one of the things that we thought was really important with shapeshifting is that you can change back and forth at literally any time, mid-animation, walking around in the middle of a skill, whatever, just hit the button and change forms. So one of the things that we're really proud of is the new grass technology we have. It's done using pre-computed ray tracing and is way nicer looking and has much better performance than what we used before. Got some friends there? So, that right there is a small slice of Path of Exile 2.
Thank you very much, guys.